Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are live. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. As always, this is Sam, and Rachel is here as well.
Hello.
And let me see, I can probably just solo myself since Rachel's not on camera, but she is here. She's here in spirit
And in voice.
and in voice. I think I said that last time, didn't I?
I don't know. It sounds very weird, though. I don't want you to say that anymore.
Okay. Well, anyway, hey guys, Sam and Rachel here with another Talkback. This is Talkback June 2023. It's kind of crazy. We've been doing this well over a year now, every single month. Some months much later than others. This one being a prime example. The idea is to do this at the beginning of the month, and where we can answer and address frequently asked comments from, or questions or comments from, the previous month's videos. This is our video podcast series, Talk Back with the Blind Life. So thank you guys for joining us either now or in the future. Excuse me, my voice keeps going out. Rachel, you talk to them real quick.
We got a bunch of people in here already. Kevin, Gammy Road, Nathan, Dustin, Kim, JR, Tabitha, Jeffrey,
Awesome.
and Emily. Hello, everybody.
Yes, welcome. Thank you guys for joining us. So today we've got some cool stuff to talk about. Obviously, our normal topics of talking about the previous month's videos, and we've got several videos to talk about because we're a little late getting to this. But actually not so bad, because last month we were a little late too. So really it's only been about a month in between videos. But we've got some announcements. We've got a pretty good announcement coming up. We'll wait a little bit for that. But Rachel, should I talk about events coming up soon? Do you think that's
Sure. Yeah. Why don't you do that?
Yeah. So for the next couple of weeks, we've got some cool stuff going on. Both personal and professional. So next week, if you are not aware, will be the ACB, American Council of the Blind's National Convention, and the NFB, National Federation of the Blind's National Convention. I will be at both. It's kind of crazy. I am going to be mainly at ACB, which is going to be held in Schaumburg, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. And I'm going to have a booth. Pretty excited about that. I don't know if you guys can see. Hopefully not. My floor is covered in stuff getting ready for the trip. If you can see it, I apologize. It's pretty messy, but it's for a good reason. So I'm going to have a booth. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to be bringing some shirts, some of my low vision blind themed shirts to sell on site. Of course, I'm going to have a limited supply just because of travel necessities, but if you are interested in getting any of the mini designs that I have available, check out the link in the video description of all of my videos. You can also check out my website, theblindlife.net, to find a link to the merch. It's available on Amazon and Teespring. But yeah, so we're doing that. We're going to be making videos, doing some other stuff, hopefully meeting amazing people in the community. If you are going, I'd love for you to stop by the booth. It's going to be booth number 30. And yeah, it's going to be fun. So I'll be there the 1st through the 5th of July, except for one day. So kind of crazy turn of events. I'm going to be flying down to Houston, where the National Federation of the Blind's convention is going to be held. I'm going to be there for one day. I'll be there on the 3rd. I'll be there all day in the exhibit hall. I'm actually going to be guest appearing, you could say, at the Illume booth. Illume, spelled E-L-L-U-M-E. They are the creators of the accessible COVID test that I did a video about a couple months ago. And they invited me down, so I'm going to fly down there, and just for a couple hours on the 3rd, I'll be at their booth. The rest of the time on the 3rd, until I've got to fly back to Chicago, I'll be wandering around the exhibit hall. So if you see me, bald guy with a beard, maybe carrying a camera, stop me and say hello. I'd love to say hi to everybody, or stop by the Illume booth. I should probably give a big thank you to Illume for sponsoring that and bringing me out there. So that is the first through the 5th, and then personally after that,
we don't need to tell people our personal travel plans.
Okay, well, we're going on a trip.
But they don't need to know the dates and all that.
You don't want to know what's the address again?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we're
taking
doing
vacation. We're excited about it.
Taking a vacation. Skylar, a lot of people know that Skylar graduated this year, and she's going to be starting college in the fall up in Ohio. And so this is kind of a last hurrah with some of her friends who are going to be going to another school out of the country, actually. And so, yeah, so it's going to be fun. It'll be a nice little getaway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anything else? I might be in Alabama in September. I will be in New Jersey in September for another conference. More about that in the future, more as we get closer to that. And then I'm taking a big trip out to Australia in November for a conference, going to Adelaide, Australia. So if we have any Australians in the watching this or in the room here, I'm coming your way in November. Very excited about that. Not too jazzed about the 17 or whatever hour trip over there, but that's all right. And Rachel might be coming with me for that. We're still trying to work that out.
Yeah, we're still trying to decide if I want to sit on a plane for 17 hours. It's like if I could just blink my eyes and be there, yes, I would be on board.
Yeah. How come teleportation isn't a thing yet?
I wish.
Okay, so you want to answer some questions or comments? Should we start getting into that, and then we'll do our announcement? And we got a big giveaway, well, not a big giveaway, but we're doing a giveaway a little bit later, so you guys stay tuned for that.
Okay, so the first video, it looks like, are there only 3 videos on here, Sam, that you have comments from?
Yeah, because there were a couple other videos that nobody really had any questions. A lot of great comments, and we'll talk about it as we go along. But yeah, these are really the only ones I pulled from.
Okay. All right. So the first video was that $10 cane video, that $10 cane from Amazon video. David Guy Mon 1673 said, I actually bought one of these and it isn't that bad. I fixed the issue with the slick handle by using Gorilla Tape to give a more grippy texture. It seems to work fine.
Yeah. So that was one of the drawbacks of the cane. It had a couple of issues. One of them was it just has like a hard plastic handle. It does have a little bit of texture on the handle, like molded into the plastic, but it's still just plastic. So it can get a little bit slippery. Yeah. Was one of the problems.
And then Dreza97 said, I just received this cane in the mail. Definitely a good cane for stability, but not so much for mobility. Definitely would be nice with different size lengths, and probably you do need to change the plastic handle.
Yes. Yeah. And in fact, I brought the cane over here so we can show people on camera. So it does have this big plastic, or not plastic, but it has a rubber foot on it. And that is its main, no pun intended, the Achilles heel of this cane. And here is the kind of pressed plastic. Other than that, and this was the comments that a lot of people gave, is that the height is a bit of a drawback, because it only has one height, one height, and then that rubber foot really doesn't do it any justice, and then the handle being plastic. Other than that, it's a pretty good. It's very solid. It's very sturdy, and it's $10. I mean, honestly, hard to beat that.
Except for the free one you can get.
Except for the free one.
Someone else said, I actually had this cane and my O&M took it away from me because she was so mortified by it. LOL. I now have a proper Ambitech white cane.
Yes. And it's this rubber foot. I'm telling you. And I talked about it in the video that this is the main reason why this is absolutely not recommended for mobility. You know, if you're a constant contact or a 2-point touch, user, this is going to absolutely drive you bonkers. You're just not going to be able to handle it. But I also talked about in the video about how you can this rubber foot just pops right off. So you can kind of DIY modify this cane a little bit to make it a viable mobility cane. And once again, for $10, you know, it's worth kind of tinkering around with it a little bit.
Okay, so that's all for that video. The next video was the Working Blind series video number 16, Liliana.
Yep.
Dark Queen 282 said, getting others to appreciate what we have to offer is more often than not such a steep climb.
Yeah, and that's from that in that video talking to Liliana, or Lily, as she goes by. She talked about trying to get jobs, and specifically, I think it was working at a McDonald's or a Taco Bell or one of these fast food places. But she said that they were like, well, wait a minute, how are you going to be able to cook? How are you going to work the grill? You know, you're visually impaired or whatever. And she's like, no, but I can do it. I could this kind of little workaround, or I can do it this way, and it'll still be able to get the job done. So it's like sometimes you have to convince them that yes, you can do it.
Yeah. Matt Filipinko said, epic interview. I remember.
Oh, this was for Kelvin's Working Blind, different Working Blind video.
Oh, sorry. Okay. For Kelvin, it says, epic interview. I remember you brought that cane to axe throwing when we were at ATIA.
Yeah, so this Working Blind was with Kelvin Crosby, and he is the inventor of the See Me cane, the light up cane, full LED cane, which is right back here. I should have brought that over too. And yes, I had that cane. I was doing my evaluation while I was down in Orlando at ATIA, and when Matt took me axe throwing, which was a blast. We had a great time. Two blind guys throwing axes and throwing stars and knives and stuff around. It was fantastic.
Okay, and then the next video was the wood turning video.
Yep, just the most recent one. I should also mention before you get into that, though, a lot of the comments, great comments on the Working Blind videos, both of the ones that I released recently. A lot of positive people, you know, comments talking about it's so great, inspirational. You guys are awesome. So, you know, I didn't add them in just because they weren't like questions or anything, but I wanted to make note that people seem to really enjoy it. And so if you guys are interested, if you haven't seen the series already, you can definitely check it out. I have the entire playlist. All the Working Blind videos are together in a playlist on my channel. You can just go to the playlist tabs and it's Working Blind, or you can just search Working Blind on YouTube and you'll find all the videos. There's 17 now out, I believe, 17 videos, interviews.
Cool. Okay, so Ohar Preet's in here now, and Ernie. Got a couple of your subscribers in here.
Yeah, some of the members of the channel.
Oh, sorry, yeah, members. That's what I meant.
Hopefully they're subscribers.
The wood turning video is next. So you just did that recently. You went with some coworkers. So what was that, a convention?
Yes, so it was the American Association of Wood Turners, or Wood Turning, so the AAW, and it was their international symposium convention that it just so happened was in Louisville, which is pretty nearby. And so so a group of us blind people went there because we were invited by Andy Sullivan, a pretty awesome lady who runs programs teaching blind people how to woodwork and do wood turning. Okay.
So Raphael said that demonstrates the capabilities of blind and visually impaired people. Awesome. We can do almost everything. We just need to dream about it and put those dreams in action.
Amen.
And then Body Artist 75 Abel said, I've never thought it would be a good idea for anyone with a visual impairment to work anywhere near a lathe. Have you seen the horrible accidents people with 20/20 perfect vision have in this profession?
Yeah, so one extreme to the other, yeah, we can do anything too. I don't know, guys. And yeah, so it's kind of the same thing. It's like, yeah, if anybody sits there and thinks about all the terrible things that can go wrong, they're not going to do anything. Yeah, accidents happen, and they happen just as much to fully sighted people as they might to non-fully sighted people. So I'm like, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to get out there and give it a shot and give it a try. And we weren't like the lathe at a certain point. It's actually very accessible. Now, if you put a giant chunk of wood on there, like raw timber, and that thing starts spinning, you got flying bits and chunks and pokey bits that are flying around super fast. Yeah. But once you get that rough, I don't know what you would call it in lathe, wood turning, rough cut, to where you've got the rough cylinder down, it's pretty accessible. You don't have any more bits sticking out. You can actually touch it and feel, and if you're careful with some training, that's the whole key. Is like, that's what we were getting training from somebody that has built this program around blind people turning wood. And so once you get the proper training, you know what you do and what you don't do. It really lessens the dangers quite a bit, and you just sit back and enjoy it.
Larry in the comments here just said, you can do anything you set your mind doing. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it, because you can do anything you set your mind doing.
Awesome. And I see you. Did you highlight Larry's comment?
I did.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Larry.
And Emily Webb had a good point and said, I think we tend to be more cautious than the 20/20 folks.
Yes, and that's an excellent point. They're just all willy-nilly with fingers here and there, and we're much more. We've got the slow and low. Like it's like reaching for a glass on a table. We're not just going to reach out. We're going to go slow and low, and there it is. I think that's an excellent point.
This is not on that topic, but Sam Harpreet said, just wondering if you got his email about the Slinger, if you got his address.
Yes, I did. Yes. Thank you very much. And that is on its way. I don't have an ETA for you, sir, but it is on its way. Thank you very much for checking in.
Okay. That was it for the comments, or the, video comments.
We didn't have a ton. So thank you guys. Thank you to everybody who leaves comments on the videos. It's really great. I go through and read them all. I as we always say, I don't answer all of them, because a lot of them don't, it's not really looking for an answer. They just want to share their enthusiasm, or, thank me that they like the video and that sort of thing. But I do read all the comments. I go through all of them. Okay. Any questions in here? If you guys have any questions, let us know. How many people, Rach, can you tell how many are in the chat right now?
47.
Oh, perfect.
Hey, well, here's a nice little intro. Ty Rocky just said, when will the first episode of your podcast be released?
Well, Ty, it's like we planned it. Perfect segue into our big announcement. So after I feel like we need a drum roll. Do we have a sound machine, soundboard?
I don't.
We're not that fancy yet, are we?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So after many years of people requesting a podcast, the Blind Life podcast, I have finally done it. We have finally put it together, and it is out. It is live. You can search on all the major podcasting platforms: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Stitcher, RIP Stitcher. You can search for it, and it is out there. I only have one episode so far. I'm going to be uploading another one sometime this week. And actually, this live stream is going to be turned into a podcast episode. that's going to be kind of the style of the podcast. Is we will be recording, and I'll be recording some new things here and there, but a lot of this will be the audio version of my videos. So some of my older videos, like when I did an interview with my daughter Skylar, and talking about living with a blind parent and growing up with a blind parent, that is a video, but it would lend itself perfectly to a podcast episode. So I'm going to go back and turn that into a podcast episode and post it on the podcast. So things like that, because I've gotten, well, like I said, I've gotten requests, hundreds of requests over the years to do a podcast, and I've gotten a lot of people. I find out that a lot of people don't watch YouTube, especially in the blind community. They're not YouTubers, but they're really into listening to podcasts. And so that was another request, is like, I don't watch YouTube. Why don't you do a podcast? And then because I'd love to listen to your content. So that's another reason why we're doing it. So we're really excited about it, and took some work. Apple Podcast was not easy to get working.
It was literally several days, and it made Sam in a really bad mood.
I was cranky. Cranky. I'm like, why is it not working?
He was real cranky.
I mean, I wasn't like kick your dog mad, but I was pretty close.
He was not pleasant to be around mad.
But we finally figured it out, and we got it working. So yeah, so you guys, it's the Blind Life Podcast. Pretty easy to remember. Check it out and subscribe to that as well.
Yeah, so I think it'll be fun. I think right now, I think a lot of the content at the beginning will be recycled, like you were saying, some of the taking the audio and then editing it from previous videos to make the podcast. But I feel like because it will take less editing time for you to edit the audio, I think we might surprise ourselves and be able to get out some fresh content that's specifically for the podcast a little bit easier than you can for the YouTube.
Yeah, well, especially like next week, I'm going to be going to these conferences, and I'm going to be recording videos, but on location stuff like that, it's going to be easier to record audio only. So I'll definitely be recording some podcast episodes while I'm there. Maybe I'll stop at a booth and I'll get video clips, but then I'll also get an audio clip as well for the podcast. So yeah, it just opens up a lot of different options for us.
Yeah, I think we could definitely redo some of our, what was that series you and I did together?
Couples Q&A.
Yeah, the Couples Q&A series. I think we could, send out the call for questions and stuff and redo that whole series in a podcast. It would take a lot less time, and I don't mind I don't like being on camera, but I don't mind being on the mic.
Yeah. Everybody loved that series. Incidentally, if you'd like to see our Couples Q&A, we have a playlist for that as well.
Okay, so we've got several comments in here. One of them, just setting back a little bit, and Nico Gary said, when I was at Florida School for the Deaf and Blind in St. Augustine, Florida, I took up woodwork and I loved it, which I love that the School for the Deaf and Blind had the opportunity for you to take up woodworking. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, St. Augustine, the oldest town in the United States. Fun fact, trivia.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
I've heard that recently. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard St. Augustine, Florida is the oldest town in the U.S.
That's weird. I figured it would be like New England somewhere.
Yeah, no, they went to Florida first and then went up to New England.
Okay. Hey, Mike Wheeler. Good to see you.
Hey, Mike. Yeah.
Okay. L Hamill 64 said, I'm having trouble finding it in Pocket Casts. So Sam, we need to make note of that.
Pocket Casts. Yeah.
Pocket Casts. I'll write that down so we can.
Okay.
We'll have to look into that. And yeah, anyone who maybe is listening to this or watching this video later, please in the comment section, if there's a platform that you listen to your podcast from and you're not finding the Blind Life podcast on there, comment, let us know so that we can make sure that we take care of that.
Yeah. So speaking of that, I got in the car this afternoon from work and Rachel was almost in tears. I mean, that might be a little dramatic.
Almost in tears.
That might be a little dramatic, but she was very upset. She got a notification that her beloved Stitcher is going away. It's going off air. They're shutting it down, which Stitcher is a podcast platform. Apparently owned by Sirius, I guess, from what they said. But yeah, she was pretty upset about it. She's been listening to Stitcher for years.
Yeah, I've used Stitcher for a really long time. Addison said, I think this is a great idea. I watch YouTube a lot. I also have a YouTube channel, but I also love listening to podcasts as well. I do too, Addison. I am a huge podcast listener. Much to Sam's chagrin. It's what I listen to every night in bed before I go to sleep.
I'm like, can you turn it down? I can't fall asleep.
Ty Rocky said you should do a podcast where you ask your channel members what they like about being a member of your channel and interview them to help get more members.
Yes, we talked about that during our last members only Zoom call earlier this month. And thank you, sir. Yeah, that's a great idea. And incidentally, once again, if anybody would like to be a member and join us on those members only Zoom calls that we do monthly, information in the video description, or you can go to the membership tab of the YouTube channel. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Okay. So a couple people have said yes about St. Augustine. David said that it's the oldest continuously occupied town. Pensacola is older, but was destroyed by natives and then later a hurricane.
Ah, okay. So there's a little bit of extra I need to add into that bit of trivia.
Yeah. Harpreet said, do we know when YouTube is going to fix the voiceover repeat comments twice bug?
Oh.
I don't think we know, but it's super frustrating.
It's so annoying. I know exactly what you mean. YouTube Studio does it. I don't know. I don't know if I've noticed it on YouTube itself, but I read comments through YouTube Studio, and or YT Studio is what it's called. The app is, and yes, it reads the person's name twice and then reads the comment. It's so annoying, especially if someone has a really long YouTube name.
Yeah. Harpreet was just said that he never used Stitcher, and Sam was joking, saying I'm the only person that used it, and that's why it's going away, that I was single-handedly supporting it. I'm like, I wasn't supporting it because I didn't have a premium membership.
They said, well, let's look at our analytics. Seems there's one person in Kentucky that's listening to it, so I think we can go ahead and shut it down.
Yeah, pretty much. Kim Lackey said YouTube just fixed that. She noticed it today.
Oh, excellent.
That would be nice.
It's nice to see Kim Lackey in here. She's been a long time viewer and contributor to the channel.
Yeah. Sam, I saw with so Sam and I are using what's it called? StreamYard to stream this today. And I was noticing one of the features they have is you can do like a call-in show. Oh. That's something we should play around with, see how it works, and maybe we could do that in the future. It'd kind of be similar to who was it? Someone Ty had said about having a thing where members call in and stuff.
Yeah.
Might be kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that.
Okay, does anyone have any questions or anything that you are wanting Sam to ask, or anything you want the hive mind to weigh in on about tech or anything?
Well, you guys think about it. There's one thing I wanted to kind of talk about a little bit, and then we'll get to doing a giveaway too, because I know that's probably what you guys are really here for. But I've had a lot of people ask me about the new Apple Vision Pro, the Apple's new wearable VR headset, VR AR headset. And so I thought I could talk a little bit about it. I had a guy today call me at the office asking me about it. And I think people are excited about it. Well, number one, they think Apple, Apple has pretty decent accessibility. So they're thinking, oh, well, this might be it. This might be the one we've been waiting for. So if you're not familiar with the Vision, well, also I guess having the name being Vision Pro probably doesn't help also getting the blind people excited. But if you don't know much about it, so it's their new VR AR headset, and it's kind of crazy. Usually VR headsets have like one camera, maybe two. This one is covered in cameras, inside and out. So it has a screen on the outside. It has the screens on the inside that you're looking at, and the screens on the inside are supposed to be better than 4K resolution, which is going to be pretty good, especially for low vision users. But there's cameras on the inside that they look at your eyes, and one of the main ways that you're going to interact with this, just the average user, not talking about accessibility yet, but the average user, it uses eye tracking. So if it puts a grid of icons on the screen in front of you, you look at the settings icon and it chooses the settings icon because it sees where you're looking and it knows that you're looking at that one, and that's the one you'll want to choose. So I don't know about you guys, but for me, that's not going to work because I don't have central vision. I don't look at anything specifically directly. So that's something we gotta work around, and we'll talk about that in a second. But it also has a camera that it simply looks at your face, your eyes, and it projects that image on the outside screen. So if somebody is standing there talking to you and you're wearing this, they'll see your eyes looking at them being displayed on this outside screen. It's kind of bizarre. And then it has a couple of cameras that are pointing down that are looking at your feet. They're looking at your hands. And that's how, it's going to be used when you're playing games and stuff. If you're moving around, it's seeing where your hands are. Traditionally, with VR headsets, you would be holding controllers, and that's where it gets the the motion data and all of that. But apparently, these Apple glasses are going to use cameras to track your hands and stuff. And so that's where the accessibility kind of comes in. So we don't know yet a ton about the accessibility. They did a little bit of a webinar kind of thing, demonstration, but they didn't really go too much into detail. It will have voiceover. It will have the ability. It's basically running iOS, so it's going to have the same things that iOS has. So it'll be able to do voiceover. It'll be able to change your colors, like invert your screen and all of that. High contrast, large print. You'll be able to do all that kind of stuff that you can on your phones and your iPads. Now, it doesn't have a screen. So how do you control your voiceover? You can't do gestures and taps and all of that. Well, yes and no. So that's where those downward facing cameras are going to come into play, because it's going to see your hands and you're going to have specific hand movements that will correspond to gestures for voiceover. So, for example, to move, to swipe left, swipe right, it's going to be like an index thumb tap, middle finger thumb tap. To double tap something, it's going to be the index thumb finger tap on the opposite hand. So, you're going to be doing these tappings and movings with your fingers and all of that, and even multiple fingers at once, to move the voiceover around, the focus on the voiceover. So that's something to keep in mind. Yes, it's going to have it. Yes, you will need to learn a completely different way to control your voiceover. Now, no talk yet about any kind of screen magnifier. So with regards to other wearables like Iris Vision, Patriot, eSight, all of these, where they're using a VR headset as a screen, as a video magnifier, where you can zoom in and you can change the colors and all that. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that the VR style ones work really well for me. it's no mention of this on the Vision Pro yet, but the fact that the iPhone and the iPad and all these things come with a built-in, or come with a magnifier already loaded in, a video magnifier, that's encouraging, because if they can just put that video magnifier into the headset, well, then you have that. Then you have the head-borne video magnifier and the zooming in and changing colors and all that. So that will be pretty. That's kind of interesting. I don't know if exciting. I'm not excited about anything yet, but that's very interesting as a possibility. I'm not looking forward to trying to learn how to do new voiceover gestures and all of that, especially as a trainer. I already train voiceover. I have to train voiceover on devices with a button, a home button, and without a home button, because it's different. And then Android, I've got to know how to do all that. So adding in just another set of gestures, I'm going to have to remember. I'm not looking forward to that. But and then the other big kind of downside is, I think they said like around $3,000, $3,500 for this headset. So not cheap at all. So that's kind of my little brief overview. If you guys have any questions, I might be able to answer specific questions.
Okay, we got some comments and stuff. Kim, like I said, I have nystagmus, so I can only imagine eye tracking with that.
Right. Yeah, that's something else to consider.
L. Hamill said, I wonder if it'll have some kind of magnifier. I played around with a Quest 2 once and found it hard to see because I couldn't zoom in.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It has a built-in, the iPhone has a built-in magnifier and iPad and stuff. So if they do port that over to the Vision Pro, that'll be pretty cool. If you can just kind of do a little hand gesture and it zooms in for you, and you're just looking at it, that would be pretty cool. Regarding the Quest, so you guys never saw it because I never put it out, but I actually got my hands on a Quest, Oculus Meta Quest, and did an evaluation and recorded some video. I had to give it back. I was just borrowing it from a friend and I didn't really get a ton of time with it, but I was very disappointed in it. Rachel, you probably remember, but I turned it on and it puts you in this like virtual world, and I'm like, wow, this is incredible. I can see things so well in here. And then a menu pops up to do the setup, and I'm like, oh, I just need to get a little closer so it's bigger. And as I got closer, it disappeared. And I couldn't make it any bigger. I couldn't get close enough. So right from the beginning, I was done. I was stuck. I couldn't do anything. So I had to get Skylar, my daughter, to come over and help me set it up to get it to the point where I could get into a video game. And so I said, no, that's a failure right there. If I need to get help to get it set up before I can even use it, then no, it's not accessible.
Yeah. Okay. A couple other comments in here that are unrelated to that, but Jeffrey Z had a great question. He asked if you could add the links to the podcast on this when this becomes a video, like in the show notes, which I'm assuming you'll probably put that in all the show notes, right? Like just
I'll start to add it in. Yeah. And incidentally, I'll say it verbally here. If you guys want, you can go to my podcast website, which is The Blind Life. What is it? theblindlife.podbean.com, I believe. It's Podbean. Bean is my host. PODBEAN. N as in Nancy. Podbean. So I think it's theblindlife.podbean.com.
Yeah, it is. I just double checked that.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. But I will add that in, yes, for future.
And then Al Mueller said that it's not on Amazon, the Blind Life podcast, which I thought we set that up.
Yeah, the Amazon link is there. If you go to my website, it's still real new. So we got some bugs to work out. I know it's on, we checked on Apple. Where else did we check? You checked on Spotify, I believe, right?
Yeah. I just Googled Amazon podcast, The Blind Life, and I see on Amazon UK it's on there.
Oh, yeah. So it's only for the Brits.
Only for the prints. We'll look into that. We'll make sure that it's on there. And then someone else made the suggestion, which I'm not sure, Sam, if this, I'm not sure if we had done this or not, but Samantha said to please get it on Audible. Was that one of them that?
Audible? No. So that the Podbean, the host that I'm using, they had some recommended podcasts platforms or apps or whatever you call them, and then ones that aren't on the list, you kind of have to go out and manually do. So we'll definitely look into that.
Yeah,
Audible,
literally, it's only been published a couple days. So
yeah.
Mike Wheeler was asking if everyone had issues getting onto the members Zoom call. He couldn't get into it last time. It said it kept waiting for host.
I don't think so. If Ty's still in here, he could ring in and or chime in and say if he had any problems. I don't think so.
Huh.
I put you on the block list.
Oh, sorry. If that happens in the future, how would they be able to notify you like, hey, I'm hanging out here? Do you have to let them in, or can people just come and go?
No, I've got it set up to automatically. They just jump right in. I don't have to let them in.
Okay, so that it shouldn't have said waiting on for host then.
Yeah. Mike, you could always try. I don't know if you clicked on the link or if you put in the meeting ID and passcode. You could try just manually adding in the meeting ID and passcode next time. It might have just been a fluke because you've been in there before, so it might have just been a random issue.
Okay, let me see here.
I didn't block you, I promise.
Someone's asking for your WhatsApp number, but you don't use WhatsApp.
Yeah, I don't use WhatsApp and I don't give it out. Unfortunately, I apologize. I know it's really big in other countries, but I just don't do that. If you want to get a hold of me, send me an email and we can kind of take it from there.
Jeffrey Z said you probably won't be doing a lot of trainings on the Vision Pro if most people won't be able to afford it. LOL.
Yeah, I know. I seriously, I'm like, because I know some other people that are getting it, and for like a hot second there, I was like, well, maybe I should. Like, no, I'm not getting it. It's a tax write-off, right? Right, honey?
What? I'm sorry, I was reading comments. I totally didn't hear what you just said.
I said it would be a tax write-off, right?
You think everything's a tax write-off. Okay, so Mike Wheeler said he just asked his Echo, he called it My Lady A, to play the Blind Life podcast, and it just started up. So it's...
Oh, excellent.
I'm assuming that is playing it. Mike, do you know, is it playing it from Amazon, or is it playing from Spotify? Because I know sometimes when I play stuff through I have Spotify connected to my Echo, so sometimes it plays Spotify stuff. It'd be interesting to know. Aniko Gary was asking, will it work if you only have light perception and totally blind in the other eye? I'm assuming they commented that like 5 minutes ago. So I'm assuming that's in reference to the Quest, and my assumption would be no, right?
She could have been talking about the Quest or the Apple Vision Pro, but it's the same answer for any VR headset. No, it literally, you have to have some usable vision, because it's simply, and that's true for any assistive technology wearable device. It's not enhancing your vision or anything, or not, I shouldn't say enhancing. It's not fixing your vision, making it better. It's just enhancing what vision you have, if that makes sense. It's just magnifying. So if you are only seeing light, then even if it magnifies, you're still only going to see light. So no, unfortunately not.
Okay, Joker.
That's a very common question.
Yeah, Joker Alice was talking about the Zoom thing and said if you have a bad connection with the internet, that can cause Zoom to have problems, and also making sure check that it's up to date.
Yeah.
Larry is asking, will the VR headset have voice control to where you can control the headset with voice commands?
I haven't seen anything about that. But I mean, I'm thinking, like I said, it's essentially running iOS. So theoretically, anything you can do with iOS, you should be able to do on this headset. For $3,000, I would hope they would at least throw something like that in there. But I haven't seen anything myself yet about it.
Okay, I think I caught up on all. Oh, Harpreet said, "What do you think of iOS 17?"
I haven't tried it out. I really got into trouble when I upgraded my 15 to 16, the beta for 16. I jumped the gun, I got excited, and I did the beta build for 16, and it completely broke voiceover, or actually it broke dictation. And like an idiot too, a lot of you guys know my story. Before I had the Blind Life YouTube channel, I was on a mobile technology channel. So I made videos about Android phones, like taking the operating system off, tweaking the code, unlocking, putting it all back on. So I know mobile systems. I know them really well. So you think I would know better than not just to play around with an experimental beta build on my main device, which is kind of a no-no. You only use your backup devices for that kind of stuff. But I did it on my main device, and I did it like the night before I went out to LA for a conference. So I was gone for like a week, and as soon as I did it, I think I was like on the plane when I realized dictation wasn't working. And I'm like, oh no, because you have to have a computer to get back to your previous build on an iPhone. And I didn't have a computer with me. So I had to deal with it for the week. I just had to kind of grin and bear it. So I'm a little reluctant now to test out any beta builds, at least on my main device. It does look cool though. I'm excited about it.
Mike Wheeler said he asked his Google Home and it's playing on the Google Podcast, and then on Lady A it's playing on Amazon Music. So sounds like the podcast is on Amazon now. I'll have to scroll up. I can't remember who said they were trying to find it on Amazon and it wasn't on there.
Yeah, perhaps they were looking on Amazon Audible.
I said Amazon. It was Al Mueller. So I'm not sure, Al, why it's not showing up for you. Are you Amazon US or are you a different country? Maybe that's it. Britain just said they got a new MacBook Pro M1. That's cool. We just bought our daughter a MacBook Pro for college.
Yep.
It was more expensive than I would have liked to pay for a new laptop for her. Better last her.
Well, let's go ahead and do some giveaways.
All right.
Well, and then if you have more questions, please feel free to put them in, but we will go ahead and we're doing 2 giveaways today. Both the same thing. And of course, I don't have it right here in front of me.
It's like you're brand new to these live streams or something.
I know, I'm never prepared. Hold on. Entertain them for a second.
I like that you're in your comfy shorts too. So everybody, for the giveaway, we will need to have a word that everyone types into the chat in order to be a winner. So what word should we use? Be creative. But it has to be something simple to spell.
No, so remember, we're doing the different way. We're doing the go to that website.
Yeah, but that's how it works.
Oh, does it? I thought it just randomly picks somebody that's in the chat.
No, I think you type in a code word and then it picks someone that has used that code. I sent you the link in your email. But I guess I can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can do it. check it out. You look into that while I tell them about what they're going to win.
Okay.
So we are doing a giveaway for 2 of the Slingers. So what Harpreet was talking about earlier, we're going to be giving away 2 of those today. So the Slinger, if you are unfamiliar with what it is a, I didn't find it. I'm sorry. I should have. It is a cell phone accessory, a smartphone accessory. It attaches to the back of your phone and allows you to wear it around your neck. And it's a pretty cool mechanism with pulleys and elastic bands and stuff. I did a whole video about it a couple weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, if you want to learn more about it. But it allows you to use your phone completely hands-free, with speakerphone and all of that, and also enables you to keep track of it if you're carrying things like a cane or a guide dog or things like that. And then also, you could use it with some of these apps that you need to use the phone's camera for. Apps like Ira or the Oko app that I just did a couple videos about. So it would work really well for that, or Be My Eyes or things like that. So huge thank you to the Slinger team. myslinger.com, SLINGER is the name of the website, myslinger.com. They very kindly gifted us a couple Slingers that we can give away to you guys. So huge thank you to them for sponsoring this giveaway. And everybody is eligible wherever you are. No problem. We'll get it sent out to you.
Okay. So yeah, I just looked at StreamYard. So you can put text in there that people have to type in, or if you leave it blank, it will
just pick from everybody.
Yeah, take from everybody. But I have to start collecting comments.
Okay.
Okay, so if you had not commented in the chat and you want to be one, make sure you write something. It doesn't matter what, just write something in the comments, because there's like over 50 people in here and I only have 25 entries at this point. So I'm going to give everyone just a minute to do that.
I'll be giving away a Slinger and a couple of the accessories. You'll get a little bit of a grab bag of accessories. They gave me accessories for when I made the video, and I will throw some of those into the bag for each winner.
There we go. Now we got all the people that have been quiet are chatting in here now to get one. So that's good. So we'll wait just a few minutes. Give everyone a chance in case anyone isn't used to doing the chat and have to navigate to it, because I know it's not always easy to figure out.
Yes.
By the way, Mike Wheeler said that you're always in your comfy shorts.
Man, well, he's
usually in his jammy pants, actually. But
I like to be comfy, man. I have an oddly shaped body, and
no,
so
you don't.
I'm horribly disfigured. No, I just feel much more comfortable and more room for activities when I'm in my jammies. No, but also, and Rachel, you can back me up on this. My studio here is swelteringly hot.
Yeah, it's super, super hot, and it's even worse when he's actually using it because he's got lights on. But yeah, I don't know why our bedroom. So his studio, it's a bedroom. It's a bedroom that we don't use as a bedroom.
No, it's a fancy high-tech studio.
But it's in our. We have a 2-story house, and it's on the 2nd floor. And then our actual bedroom is also on the 2nd floor, but on the opposite end. Our bedroom is frigid, freezing cold, but his studio is a sweltering inferno. And our daughter's room is closer to his studio. It's not as hot as the studio, but it's hot also. It's not good.
Yeah.
Okay, we will do the giveaway now.
Okay. Do you want to share your screen, or you just want to go for it? You can do whatever you want.
I'm going to share my screen. Christopher Powell. Can you all see that?
Yep, we got it. Good job. Congratulations, Christopher.
Okay, and now we will.
Christopher with a K.
Yes.
So real quick, well, go ahead if you want to choose the second one.
Yeah, I'm just going to, in case anyone. Oops. Okay, we're going to draw again.
No.
Dustin Art. I thought I was going to choose Christopher again there for a second.
It did. It looked like it was, yeah.
So congratulations, Christopher and Dustin. If you guys want to, you want them to email you, Sam?
Yes. Yeah, so if you guys, congratulations, Christopher and Dustin. If you would send me an email with your contact information, you can send it to sam@theblindlife.net, N-E-T. Send that over and I will drop it into the mail and get it sent off right away. Congratulations to you guys. Huge thank you once again to myslinger.com for sponsoring the video, or sponsoring the giveaway.
Yes. Okay, so some more comments here. Joker Alice said, do you know the difference between Windows 11 Home and Windows 11 Pro?
Short answer, no. I know there are differences as far as some of the features you get between the two, and some of the abilities you have. I've had people ask question if the accessibility is different, and although I don't, we should post this question to Matt Filipinko. He works for Microsoft. He would know. Although I don't have any confirmation on this, I would say that the accessibility is going to be the same on all the different systems, because that would be kind of a jerky thing to do. Is like, you got to get the Pro version if you want the accessibility. So as far as that, I think there's no difference. But the Home and the Pro, yeah, I think there are some feature differences.
Mike was just saying that he bets the air handler is closest to our bedroom and that's why it's colder there. And no, it's not. The air handler is actually super close to the studio and we're on the opposite side of the house.
It's right up there. Yeah. I think, go ahead. I think the main thing is that it's, I'm right above the garage. I think that's the main problem.
Yeah. Dustin Art is saying, I don't know how to email from the phone. I don't remember how to do that. You don't have another way I can get in contact with you. Not really.
Yeah, not really, unfortunately.
Actually, oh, never mind. That doesn't work. We'll think on that, Dustin. We'll figure it out.
If you can send a message through Facebook, my Facebook page.
Or Instagram.
Yeah, I don't want to give you anything that's like public.
No, Instagram Messenger.
Yeah. I know I was thinking like Twitter, or you can get direct message through Twitter or something, but yeah, one of those would be fine.
Yeah, so Dustin, if you can get on Instagram, is it the Blind Life Sam?
No, the Blind Life. Yeah, the Blind Life Sam, pretty much everywhere except YouTube and TikTok
and Facebook.
Yeah, the Blind Life page is just the Blind Life. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, so Dustin, you can send a message, and you probably don't want to put your email address public, but if you send a private message on Facebook or Instagram to the Blind Life Sam or the Blind Life, we'll do it that way.
Yeah, or you can go to my website and do it through the contact form on my website. That might be the best way, if you're able to, because that sends me an email directly.
Okay.
So the blindlife.net is the website.
Okay, so Apostle O'Bembry said, when you do your videos, do you use a script or do you freestyle? I'm totally blind and trying to find the best way to listen to my script in my ear.
No, I do not.
Tyler.
Yeah, I've been doing it long enough that I'm pretty good at just freestyling. Whenever I'm kind of thinking of an idea or thinking of planning out a video, I plan out the highlights that I want to talk about. You know, if I want to touch on battery life, if I want to touch on camera resolution, or, you know, what you might use this product for, I'll come up with the topics, and then I will just freestyle the topic, you know, what I'm talking about. One thing is you can use Evernote. I haven't used it in a while, but Evernote used to be set up to where if you use it with a screen reader, it would read one line at a time. Instead of traditionally, screen readers will read, you know, a paragraph at a time, a big section of text at a time. But Evernote would read one line at a time. So I have done presentations where I have everything written out on Evernote. The talking points are written out on Evernote, and then I'll be standing up there with my device on the podium, and I've got one earbud in, and I will just swipe to the right, and it will read out the topic, and it'll stop, and then I will talk about the topic, and then I'll swipe to the right again to get the next topic. And so that's one way that I have done presentations like that. I don't do videos like that, but you know, that might be helpful.
Yeah, I think that would be difficult with a word for word script, but I think it would work well with talking points.
Yeah. And honestly, sometimes I will do a video and I'll go to edit it, and I just do not like it. Maybe my energy wasn't there. I don't know. It's just not working. And I'll go to record it again. And the more times I record it, the easier it gets. So, I mean, it's just kind of that old, you know, it's a proven fact that if you actually practice, you know, you sound much better. So if you did that, you know, then when you did come down to recording time, you know, you might not need anything. You might just remember it all.
Okay. I think I have gotten everyone's questions in here. Does anyone have a question that you asked and I missed it? Or does anyone have a question that you haven't asked yet that you wanted Sam to answer, or a conversation starter or whatever? We're probably going to wrap it up fairly soon. We have been on here an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, get your comments in, your questions. And then we'll wrap it up. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Last minute.
Yeah, you had a good turnout for it being so last minute. Does anyone have suggestions for podcast topics? You know, some of the reviews wouldn't work well on podcast, because you really, especially if it's something for, you know, a video magnifier is probably not going to be a good podcast review. But if you have specific things that you think would be good, that would be good. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of my interviews will work well. I'll put those out on the podcast. Definitely all the working blinds will do really well there.
The Dusty Dud just asked, when do you do live Q&A? Right now.
We don't have a set schedule for our lives. It is literally like, you know, an hour before we're like, we should do it live.
Yeah, we keep saying we should do better, but we're going on 2 years now. Then
yeah, I mean, life happens, but you know, now our daughter Skylar is going to be going off to college, so we're going to be empty nesters. So we might be like, all right, I'm bored. Let's do a live. So we might actually get on a schedule.
Yeah. Joker Alice said, I don't write a full script for my videos, but sometimes when I review anime, I write bullet points for the important topics. I also do that for stories too. So yeah. Joker, Alice, do you have them written and you refer to them visually, your notes, or do you have you wear an earbud or whatever and listen to your prompts? I'm curious as to how you do it.
And Joker Alice, I'm curious, what do you think of the new One Piece live action that's coming out? Have you seen the trailer? I know there's some people are kind of excited, and then some diehard fans are like, what in the world? This is ridiculous. Had that conversation with my son, Jacob.
Okay, here's the Dusty Dud has a good question. Sure. Sam, that you'll be able to relate to. It says, I have trouble reading small print like at debit card machine at Walmart. Is there anything that could help with this?
I mean, so you can, if you use magnification, you could try to use magnification. A magnifier, a video magnifier, a little portable one. But honestly, for me, or I should say, before I get to that, a lot of them can do the tap now, where you just touch the card to it. The problem is there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason as to where you tap. Like there's no conformity. There's no uniformity, is what I mean. Every one you tap in the upper corner, one you tap down low, some you tap right in the middle. So it's like we can't even really trust that, because the tap would be fantastic if I could just touch it and it worked. Great. So you could try that, but you might just stand there fumbling around until you find where to tap. Honestly, I just say, I'm sorry, I can't use your machine, and I hold my card out, and it kind of like forces the cashier to make a decision. It's like, what are we going to do here? You need to take care of this because I cannot. And usually they're always super cool and helpful. I was just telling Rachel about a story today at lunch where the lady she looked at me and I said, I'm sorry. I told her 3 times that I couldn't see when I was talking about the menu and asking what she had and stuff. And then when I said, I'm sorry, I can't use your machine, and I held out the card, she looked at me, she goes, well, why not? I lost it a little bit, and I kind of yelled at her a little bit. I kind of I broke my advocate stance on don't be a jerk, but I said, I told you 3 times, lady, I cannot see, I'm blind. And then she did it for me, and then she proceeded to just hand me the card back without saying anything. I'm like, oh gosh, come on. But anyway, so yeah, unfortunately, that's the easiest way I've found to help with that, is just ask them to do it for you. You do run into places every now and then where they're like, I'm afraid I'm not allowed to do that. And so in that situation, I'll say, well, can you just grab a manager then? I'm sure somebody back there can take the transaction.
Yeah, which is weird for them to say I'm not allowed to do that. That it's like, you can't run a credit card. Like, it's weird, but anymore they don't do that very often.
No, it seems like they're all gone, the days where they did it on their side of the machine. I think nobody does that. The worst are the ones where they ring it up and then they rotate the screen towards you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I really can't do anything with this. I just like reach out and rotate it back towards them.
Joker Alice said that they wear an earbud and listen to the voice by line, listen to it with voiceover and go line by line. Also, like what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Sophia said, I'd love to hear a live on how you travel. I've never been on a plane, and as a blind person, I'd love to travel alone someday. Sam has done videos on that.
Yeah. But honestly, you know what? That video would translate very well into a podcast, because I was just sitting there talking to the camera. I was showing clips like B-roll of me on the airplane and stuff, but that would definitely work really well as a podcast. So yeah, I'm happy to do a live and talk about it. I did, like Rachel said, though, I do have a video. I think it's called Independent Travel for the Visually Impaired. And I walk through all the steps. I travel a lot. I fly. I've already been on like 14 airplanes this year, and I'm going on several more next week. So I've figured it out. I've cracked the code on traveling by yourself as a VIP. So you can check out that video. I also have videos on like how to make your luggage accessible, so you can find it, when it's coming around the carousel, different tips for that. So yeah, I think I might have a playlist about travel. but that's not a bad idea.
Okay. John said, what hobbies do VIPs participate in to pass the time? That's a possible topic. That'd be a good topic.
Yeah.
I'm always surprised. That actually came up recently in, I can't remember which group, one of the Facebook groups. It may have been the Start Arts group. But someone was talking about how they recently got into crochet. So.
Yeah, I could see crochet being a very tactile pastime.
Yeah. And Jeffrey said, Sam, for the podcasts that have small video clips, you should add voiceover audio descriptions, which these podcasts that he's talking about, there won't be video clips anymore. He'll edit it so that there aren't video clips in it. So it's just it's strictly going to be audio. It's not going to be like a podcast on YouTube. It's going to be a podcast on a podcast platform. Yeah.
And honestly, my videos, the way I do them, I'm very rarely showing video where I'm not talking over it anyway. So, because it's usually B-roll, like shots of the magnifier as I'm talking about how you use it, I show the clip of that. So I don't have too many things that I would need to add in audio description on an audio only version of it. But yeah, that's something to definitely keep in mind.
Yeah, I feel like if it were a video that like if it were something that you really needed the video, it probably just isn't a good podcast.
Yeah, like my video where I was flying the airplane. I love that. Just it's one of my favorite videos just because of the sentimental emotion that went with it. But it would not make a good podcast version because there were a lot of clips of me like in the airplane flying and stuff where it just wouldn't lend itself to audio.
Yeah. The Dusty Dud is asking, how did we meet? Said, I've been subbed to you for probably a year and finally caught a live. Sorry, Dusty Dud. It would be easier to catch a live if we actually kept a schedule.
I know. It's our fault. It's
kind of like up to chance.
We actually, so we do have, as Rachel mentioned earlier, we have a whole series called Couples Q&A where we talk about how we met, dating, marriage life to a VIP, basically.
Raising kids, what it's like raising kids with a
home life. Yeah. All of that. But short story is this was back in the late 90s, pre-dating apps and all of that. I had just moved to the city we live in, and I guess Rachel, you had too. Unbeknownst to me, she had also moved here at the time. And I put an ad in the newspaper, old school. I put it in the personals ad. And Rachel, I never asked you that. Were you like perusing the personals on a regular basis, or how did you find my ad?
No, I wasn't. I don't know, because I didn't even get the paper. So I think it was one of those times, like this is dating us because they wouldn't do this now. But I don't know if you remember back in the day, it used to be every once in a while, like everyone would get a paper. I think it was like a marketing thing. And I think I just happened to get a paper. So I was looking through it, but I didn't normally get the paper.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. I don't really remember. I just know, no, I did not regularly peruse the.
You weren't trolling the the personals.
No.
Yeah, and so that's how we met.
Yeah, and the way it worked, it was like you'd put an ad, and then I guess there was like a phone number, and then maybe your ad had a code or something. Is that what it was? So you would call the number and then put in the code, and you could like basically leave voice messages, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
That sounds right. I don't know. You were my one and only personals ad, so I didn't have very much experience.
I thought you had met other people before me.
No, I'd met a lot like through chat, AOL chat rooms and stuff. That's how I picked up all my other ladies. All my other ladies. Yeah. And then I'd say, let's meet at a restaurant. Pick you up? No, let's meet somewhere.
Yes, which is what he said to me too.
I said, better yet, why don't you come pick me up? We'll switch it up a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Joker Alice said, I wish the One Piece live action wasn't a thing. It's going to suck because live actions of anime rarely are good, and it's Netflix. She said, Netflix has a reputation of completely ruining live action adaptations of anime. Also, it's just hard to adapt some of the stuff in anime to live action.
Yeah, I agree on a lot of that. I will say though, and this is kind of the argument I gave my son, is my son's a huge One Piece fan. He loves it, and he's tried to get me to watch it, and I could never get into it. I do love anime, but I could never get into it because the very cartoony style of it. That just always kind of took me out of it. And so when I saw that, I'm like, oh, I could maybe watch it because it's not cartoony now. But yeah, I totally get what you mean. He was pretty upset. I think some of the characters, he's like, what? Are you serious? You know, the way they depicted some of the characters. But I don't know. We'll see. I'll watch it, I'm sure.
Good. Al was able to get the podcast on Amazon and subscribe, so I'm glad that worked out.
Excellent. Yeah. So I'm gonna add up. I'm going to add on another episode this week, and then try to do an episode a week, at least to begin with, just till we kind of figure out the flow of it. And so stay tuned for that. And then, like I said, I'll be recording some stuff when I'm at the conventions. Need to get myself a fancy little audio recorder so I can do that. But yeah, it should be fun.
Ty Rocky said you should review different games for blind people on iPhone, Android, and Echo on your podcast. You don't need video for that type of content.
That is true. So if you like that, I'll give a shout out. If you like that kind of content, there's a guy named Jesse who his YouTube channel is Illegally Sighted is the name of his channel. So instead of legally blind, it's Illegally Sighted. And he does a lot of game content, playthroughs and stuff like that. Really nice guy. So, you know, if you guys are looking for content like that, you can definitely check him out as well. But yeah, that's a great idea as well.
Sorry, I was just trying to... Dustin's still struggling to figure out the email thing. We'll think on it, Dustin. We'll think on it. We'll try to figure out something. Leave a comment if you can, not in the chat, but like when this video is published, leave a comment in the comments about it, and we'll try to get back to you and try to figure something out. Okay. You can't send messages to people on YouTube anymore, can you? Like way back when, you used to be able to send messages, right?
Yeah, you could.
I don't think you can anymore. I don't see a way to anyway, because I was going to just send a message, but I don't see how to.
Well, I could send a post to him.
Yeah.
I think you can direct a post like that, and then he could reply. So, Rach, if you could take note of it, the name,
yeah,
spelling, and all that, and then we'll figure it out.
Okay. The Dusty Dead said, is there a lot of VIP YouTube channels? I'm not completely blind, but legally blind since birth. There are a growing number of VIP YouTube channels.
Yeah. Or as I call them, competition. Just kidding. Yeah, there's some good ones too. There's some very informative ones, and some, you know, doing all kinds of different things. Like there are some blind gaming channels. There are some that just talk about beauty, talk about fashion, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I would say Life After Sight Loss. Is that right? Life After Sight Loss?
Life After Sight Loss.
I think that's a really good one, especially maybe for people that are newer to losing their vision, because he talks a lot about just like the mental aspects of dealing with it and stuff. And I think that's that's something that you don't really get into all that much.
Yeah,
and
the emotional side.
He handles that stuff really well, and I think it's really helpful for people.
Yeah.
And he's just a super nice guy.
And we're totally not copying him, but he also does a podcast with his wife.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Life After Sight Loss Radio.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be on all of the podcasts either. It's your podcast, and I might make an appearance here or there, but
yeah, I know. I'm just teasing.
Yeah. Jeffrey Z said there are a lot of VIP TikTokers, and he ain't lying.
There are. Yep. Yeah, that's really blown up.
Yeah.
I will say though, a lot of TikTokers, blind TikTokers, a lot of really good stuff, a lot of good content, but there's a lot of negativity too. So you kind of have to be prepared for that. There's a lot of people voicing their frustrations about blindness and how the world interacts with blind people. So you will see a lot of that as well.
Yeah, which is okay. I mean, it's nice to have a platformed event and people that understand, but it also, if you surround yourself with that too much, it can really bring you, if you're surrounded constantly by negativity, you're going to be negative, and it's not always healthy to be surrounded by it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Or especially if you're just like, I just got off work, I just want to relax a little bit and watch some TikTok and enjoy myself. And then,
Yeah. Ty Rocky said Live Accessible is a good YouTube channel. Said I've heard her mention Sam on some of her videos. And yes. But she has a new channel now, right? Or a new channel name. Is that right, Sam?
Yep. She's not Live Accessible anymore. She's Carry On Accessibility. CARIE.
What is it?
CARIE. Her first name, Carrie. Carry On Accessibility.
Yeah. Yeah, she has a really good channel.
Yeah.
Apostle said, Sam, would you be willing to speak to a group of blind veterans?
Yeah. Send me an email. I do that, schedule permitting. I do that quite often. I just talked to a group up in New Jersey like 2 weeks ago. This past Wednesday, I talked to a group. I have no idea where they were, but it was another group. And so, yeah, I do that. I do that quite often. Just send me an email and we can figure out if it will work with schedule. And there's Willow. Yeah, send me an email, sam@theblindlife.net.
Okay, let me look through here. We got to wrap things up here, but let me see if there was anything else that we really need to do. I think I've got most of the questions. Someone was asking if you review Dell products, which you really have not done.
Dell,
the accessibility should just be Windows accessibility, right?
Yeah, and that's something that I try to convey to people, is that the actual maker of the computer doesn't really matter as far as Windows computers. It's all about the software. So if you're thinking about buying a computer, the hardware you want to take into consideration depending on what you need to use that computer for. So, if you're going to be editing videos, editing photos, playing video games, then you want kind of a powerful computer. You want the hardware to be kind of beefy. But if you're just going to be searching email and things like that, you can save some money by getting a less powerful computer, but really the Windows operating system is going to be the same on everything. So I do videos about the operating system. I don't do videos about specific hardware. So, with that regard, you will probably get benefit out of my computer videos. I do have a playlist titled Computers or something about computers. And it's all my videos about all the software that I do reviews on.
Okay. I think it's time to wrap it up. What do you think?
Yes. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate it as always.
Hope you all of you in the U.S. have a happy 4th of July next weekend, or not weekend, but next week.
Yeah, celebrating our independence. And once again, if anybody is going to be attending either of the conferences next week, the ACB or the NFB, I will be there. I'll have a booth at ACB, booth number 30, and then I will be at NFB for one day, July 3rd. I'll be wandering around the exhibit hall, also spending some time at the Illume booth, ELLUME, Illume. So if you guys are going, I'd love to see you. Stop by and say hello.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
All right. Bye, guys.